Welcome back, guys. It's Mike with Kiss Dog Training. Today's tip is going to be leash skills. Now, this is kind of a complicated topic. But let's try to take it a little bit at a time. And let's start with something as simple as Newton's third law of physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if my dog goes out to the end of the leash and pulls me and I pull the dog back, the dog's naturally going to pull. So the equal and opposite reaction is dog pull, I pull, dog pulls. It doesn't matter who starts, but it just keeps recreating the pull. So number one, we got to get to a point where we're not pulling, okay? And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we typically use a 4 to 6 foot leash when we're teaching a dog to walk nicely on a leash. It's awful short. Dog can't get very far away. Immediately gets to the pull, and then we immediately try to correct it. This brings me to my second idea of dog training, and you're going to hear me say it all sorts of times, which is if you wait for the dog to screw up and try to correct it or punish it or consequence it or whatever you want to call it, training's not going to be fun for either one of you. So we have to then figure out, well, how do we reinforce an appropriate behavior, slacken the leash, loose leash walk, so that we can reward it? Well, this brings me to the, final idea, which would be quit using a 4 to 6 foot leash in the training process. Let's go out and get ourselves a 15-foot leash. I don't want a retractable leash. I just want a simple 15-foot leash. So the handle's at 15 feet. You'll see me tie a knot at 10 feet. I'll tie another knot at 5 feet. And I'm going to start with just my hand on the handle, walking in, let's say, the backyard first, because it's the easiest environment we got. And when the dog gets out to the end of the line, I'm going to say, easy, come here. And the dog comes back, they sit, I give them a treat, and I just let them go back to doing whatever. They're going to be a dog, they're going to sniff, they're going to do whatever. And if they get to the end of the line, I use that command easy. They have to come back, they sit, they get a treat. We keep this out and in game going. So this is where the out and in game is really more of a recall game than it is leash. Remember, I think that half of the equation is leash work, the other half of the equation is recall. Once the dog is really proficient at being able to go out, and you'll even start noticing that they know their distance of 15 feet. When they get out too far, they just turn around and come back and they start offering the sit behavior. I like to refer to those as auto sits. I'm then going to take my hand from the handle and I'm going to reach down and grab the 10-foot leash, the 10-foot knot. And I'm going to start doing the exact same game, out and in at 10 feet. Might take me a week or so. Once the dog's proficient there, offering some auto sits and such, I'm going to reach down to the 5-foot knot. And now I'm walking the dog around the backyard more in a traditional leash sense. But the difference is I started with freedom and I built down to control so that the frustration of the walk, the fun of the walk, the practice of the walk all becomes easier. Now, remember, we started in the backyard. Once we're good, I might start switching some of my practice to the front yard, the driveway. So once we have good results in the backyard, good results in the driveway, I'm going to move out to the sidewalk in front of the house. And I'm going to start going up and down just my street, okay? One thing everybody always asks me with this long line, what if a car comes up? I don't want my dog in the street, this, that, and the other. With a 15-foot leash, you do need to be, cognizant of the fact that there's a long leash. I don't want the dog... Use your feet to step on the leash to control the dog. Don't try to reel it in. The dog's already going to be in the street. But again, if you start in the backyard, move to the front yard, then to the sidewalk, the dog already has an idea of how this process works. So again, it's not just grabbing a regular old leash and going for a 2-mile walk and expecting our dog to do it well. So, we're definitely trying to get rid of the idea of Newton's third law, which is every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and have you guys quit fighting each other. Number two, we're starting in the least distracting environment. In fact, we'll talk about the books I've written about this just a little bit later, but ironically, you really start inside the house and then go to the backyard. Once you have the backyard, you go to the front yard to the driveway to the sidewalk to the neighborhood to the city park, and we keep adding layers of distraction, okay? We're also not using a 4 to 6 foot leash, we're using a 15-foot leash, which gives the dog freedom to be a dog, and it also keeps you guys as handlers from jerking on your dog all the time because there's too much leash involved for you to really be able to snap on a dog. So the dog learns I'm going to walk with my owner versus having to walk against my owner when they're always correcting me and pulling me and I'm pulling on them. So, with that all being said, I really think the first place to start would probably be our book, which is on recall. And that is called How to Make Your Dog Come Without Being a Butthead. Okay? It's really simple, not very long. You can see how big this book is. Take you about 30, 45 minutes to read. Just the basic rules of recall and how it works. The next step would then be to add the idea of not pulling on a leash, and that's what our book, Whoa Dog Whoa, is all about, okay? These are all available on Amazon. You can get them in print. You can get them as an audiobook or an ebook. You can even get them on our website, okay? But really and truly, what I want you to take away from this, teach your dog what you want and reward the snot out of it. Don't wait for the dog to make a mistake and then try to correct it. And come up with a way that practice is fun. Okay? Don't try to go for a walk and be frustrated. Let's start in the house. Let's teach the turnaround game. Let's go to the backyard. Let's work with the long line. Then let's come to the front yard, work with the long line in the driveway and the front yard, then on to the sidewalk just in front of your house. Then we might go all the way around the block. It may take us a month to 6 weeks to get to full-fledged walking walks, but you have to build the skills up. You can't teach a third grader calculus. We have to teach Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally first and then build on it. So, if you've got any questions, give us a call. Our phone number in Kansas City is 913-269-7595. You can also find us just at kissdogtraining.com. We'd love to help. If you're local, we'll come out and actually work with you. If you're not, we'll be more than happy to help you via video, phone call, whatever we can do to get you and Fido back on the right speaking terms. If you've got any questions, let us know. If you love these videos, like and subscribe so that we can spread the word about positive reinforcement, science-based dog training. Come back next time. We'll do something else. Thanks, guys.